And you know, one, and I think we're gonna close out the episode with this. So typically we would do like a dunking on right wingers segment
I
at
was
the
about to ask about this.
yeah
Yes.
at that at the end of the show, but we're not gonna do something. We're gonna maybe do something similar, but it's not gonna be about right wingers. But it's not gonna be about dunking on right wingers. But we are gonna talk about a group, a new group that is doing that. So um, there is an organization called the Gravel Institute, and that was founded by Mike Gravel, who is a former senator from Alaska. I think it was Alaska, and he ran for president a couple times. Most recently in 2020, and then and he also and he was more successful. At least he received more press about it when he ran in 2008. Uh, yeah, in 2020, or just a little bit about Mike Gravel for those of you who don't know. Mike Gravel is very much in the same vein as Bernie Sanders. He is quite progressive, but the difference between him and Bernie is that Mike Gravel is more willing to call out bullshit on his own side. Like he's willing to call bullshit throughout the establishment, whereas Bernie, I think, is a little bit too nice about it, um, which was a kind of a fatal flaw for him in the primary. You know, Mike Gravel as like a very like D tier candidate, uh, you know, released a whole lot of ads just endlessly knocking Biden, for like his conservative positions of the past, like being anti-abortion, being anti-gay marriage, wanting to cut Social Security. Whereas like there was a Bernie person who wrote an op-ed in like the Washington Post, about how corrupt Biden is, and then they ended up having to like apologize for it or whatever, and Bernie denounced it, and it's like, come on, like this is it's not like anything in this article wasn't true. Like it's just objective truth in this article about how like about all these different organizations that Biden aligns himself with. But
Yeah. I mean, if there were dirt like that on Bernie Sanders, you can bet that they would publish it.
yeah, for sure.
Or shut
Well,
up. They would never shut up about it.
yeah. Well, like when he released his tax returns and they realized, oh, he has a net worth of like $2 million, they would never
Right.
shut up about that.
There was
Like,
one tweet I saw from someone, like a journalist or someone, who put out like something about like a list of American aristocrats, and he had like all these really rich people who are worth like billions of dollars, including like senators and corporate CEOs and stuff. Then like in the middle wedge, he had Bernie Sanders at 2 million, and everyone was like, "The fuck? Why is he on the list of like American oligarchs? What are you doing?"
that's exactly what he's against.
Yeah,
But
it was just clear that they were trying to like yeah, I mean, 2 million is not comparable to some of the concentrations of wealth that do exist in this country.
yeah, but a little bit more about like Mike Gravel's presidential run this last time around. He in the earlier in the earlier parts of the primary, like he had reached the polling threshold to qualify for the debates, but he was struggling to reach the donor threshold that still existed back then. But like he had arguably reached it, but they just didn't put him on the
Oh
debate
yeah, I
roster.
remember this.
Yeah, and you can imagine why people who liked Mike Gravel and like maybe like people like me who weren't gonna vote for him because like I mean he wasn't gonna win, but like we wanted him on the debate stage to hear what he had to say. You can imagine like how pissed we were when we learned that the DNC was removing the donor threshold just to let Michael Bloomberg onto the stage,
Yep,
and
I mentioned that. Yeah,
so yeah, like Mike Gravel had dropped out long before that, and I'm sure like if he didn't, he wouldn't have met the polling threshold as that gets higher and higher every time there's a debate. Um, but yeah, Mike Gravel started the Gravel Institute, and it has existed for a while, but recently they started doing a project, basically best described as like the anti PragerU. I'm gonna pull up a video from the Gravel Institute, narrated by voice actor H. John Benjamin, yeah, from Archer and Bob's Burgers, which I really can't stand Bob's Burgers, but
he's
H. John
also
Benjamin is
he's
hilarious.
also been on the Majority Report with Sam Cedar a
Yeah,
hand.
he and Sam Cedar are tight.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pull it up real quick. But yeah, for those of you, yeah, like he talks about like how um he basically talks about like the statistics of how PragerU is affecting people on the internet, and the statistics are pretty scary. So like
Yeah.
basically what the Gravel Institute is trying to do now is to combat that, to combat that pretty much with kind of like a very similar strategy. And just earlier today, I signed up to become a $5 a month patron on Patreon for the Gravel Institute to help them.
Fucking money bags. Sorry.
Well, like if yeah, like in the description of the segment, I'm gonna put the link to their Patreon. There's
Oh,
some
they almost have 100,000 subscribers already.
yeah, like on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Sorry, I just looked that up.
Yeah. And after we watch this video, like I want to go back to a Humanist Report video where Mike Figueredo, the host of the Humanist Report, creates his own parody of a PragerU ad, and it's quite hilarious.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I think I sent it to you like some time ago, but yeah,
Oh,
we'll
okay.
watch that. But yeah, hold on, I'm gonna screen share this.
Wait, which Gravel Institute video is this?
This is like the one with H. John Benjamin talking about.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the Gravel Institute already has like 3 videos up in which like informational videos up. Like the most recent one was talking about like how the Civil War was like one of the biggest left-wing revolutions in history, like culturally. Uh, and then there's the first one was from Bernie's campaign's press secretary
That one
Breonna
was
Joy
good.
Gray. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically taking direct aim at the talking point, like big government is the problem. And then there's another one talking about how capitalism is the exact opposite of freedom. And so like those are basically the 3 videos they have up there now.
That was a law professor, wasn't it, who did that one?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, here's the video with H. John Benjamin.
Hi, this is H. John Benjamin. I'm here to talk to you about a big problem on the internet. It's called people emailing my wife. No, it's called PragerU. Imagine a huge stream of lies that pours into every computer in America. Imagine it's disguised to look unbiased and packaged into slick videos. And imagine oil billionaires give them tens of millions each year to indoctrinate your friends, your family. Well, that's PragerU. And the thing is, it works. 1 out of every 3 Americans online has seen one of their videos, and 70% say that Prager's videos changed their minds. This stuff makes a difference, and every day it is pulling people toward the right. At the Gravel Institute, we're building something to beat them at their own game. Short, high quality, easy to understand videos presenting leftist ideas and refuting right-wing lies. Stuff you can send to your friends, your mothers, your secret lovers, your mother's lovers, your known lovers. Oh, and we've got big name presenters from Bernie Sanders to Chelsea Manning. Here are a few that we've lined up.
I'm looking forward to
So this
those
won't
two.
be easy, and we're going against
Definitely
a
feels like
Goliath, so
Cornel
we
West.
definitely need your help. We want this to be a collaborative organization guided by its members, where we're trying to do something big. So hey, let's do this.
Let's do this. But yeah,
That Slavoj Žižek one.
yeah. Like I'm looking forward to Richard Wolf
And the
Wolf's
Richard
video
Wolf one, yeah.
and Cornel West. Oh my God!
And
Like
the
every
Bernie
time
Sanders.
yeah, every time I hear Cornel West speak, it's say with Nina Turner. Like I feel like I'm in church, kind of. Like
Yes, yeah.
in a good way, in a good way. Not in a,
Yeah, no, I
not in
know
a,
that.
you're
I know
going
you
to
mean.
hell way.
Right,
But
yeah. In the black church kind of way, not in the lame church way.
yeah, but but yeah, like I'm gonna put the link to their Patreon in the description if you have the means. Definitely sign up to be a patron. I just did today, and yeah, like this is definitely a thing that matters because technically, because like I've had this conversation with other lefties before, and it's like they tend to write off people like like people who work like the commentators that are shuffled out on PragerU videos. It's like, oh, they're just idiots. They're unimportant. Uh, like, we have to focus on the big stuff, which we absolutely should. We should focus on the big institutional stuff. But, PragerU is supported by these institutions that we're trying to fight. And like you said, 1 out of 3 people on the internet in America, like 1 out of 3 Americans on the internet, have seen a PragerU video, myself included. I've seen plenty of them. And, like, what was it? 70% of people say that those videos changed their mind.
Yeah, 70% of the 1/3, I guess.
And
Does
like
it make sense otherwise?
I've seen PragerU videos in a phase in my political development in which I was quite vulnerable. Like I was the kind of person who would like listen to Ben Shapiro speak. It's like, you know what? I don't agree with him, but I respect him and he knows what he's talking about. And I would have that approach with many of these PragerU videos. Like
Yeah,
back in the
because they're
day.
professionally done. Yeah.
Yeah, they're professionally done. And I fell into that trap for a bit. Not that they actually changed my mind, but I would not like just skip them and be like, okay, idiots. I'd be like, okay, let's hear them out, you know.
And also, like, especially kids and people who have like grown up being educated by the internet, like our generation,
Yeah.
we're very good at checking for sources. Which I mean, I don't know, we should get better at that. And so PragerU can get away with not having any citations at all, and they can still come off as convincing. One great thing about the Gravel Institute is that they do have citations in their description, which anyone can go check out.
Yeah. And it's I don't know, do you remember like the first PragerU video you ever came across? Because I do.
No.
Like the first PragerU video that I came across was like, I don't know, maybe a few months after the thing happened in Charlottesville.
I think it was something on race that I saw. I don't remember.
Well, yeah, well, like I think it was Michael Knowles, who's the Daily Wire third stringer. Like he was like, the video opened with the question like, what is the alt-right? And like he went into basically a whole thing about, how, alt-right means alternative right, which means the opposite of right. So it's basically the left. So yeah, like basically saying like the alt-right is closer to the left than
It's
it
as
is to the
ridiculous
right.
as shoving a dildo up your ass to show your solidarity with the gays.
See, you found an analogy for that.
Yeah. Jesus.
But but
In
yeah,
both
like,
cases, no, never mind. I'm not going to make that joke.
but yeah, like it's shit like that, and like I mean like he used a whole lot of jargon to make it sound very intelligent and analytical, but essentially it boiled down to alt-right means opposite of right, so therefore alt-right means left, and that's pretty much what the whole
Alternative
argument
doesn't
is.
even mean opposite. That's not even a correct.
Yeah.
That's not even the correct definition of the word.
Like he's an alternative to the right, which automatically means the left or something like that. I think that's what like the language.
It's a very binary way of viewing politics.
Yeah, like the simple left to right spectrum is bullshit. I prefer like the whole like the political compass,
It's even like worse than that though, because it's not even viewing it as a spectrum, it's viewing it as like a switch. Like you're either left or you're right. Because if you say you're alternative right, but that can't be right wing, it has to be left. I mean, I don't know. That's just it's very openly and blatantly propagandistic to me.
Yeah, I think we're reading too much into it because Michael Knowles is just an idiot. Like he's the guy who I don't know.
I mean, if I told
he
you,
made fun of Greta Thunberg for like her having like Asperger's or something like that. I know she's she's on the autism spectrum slightly, I think, but he was basically just like disregarding everything she was saying about climate change and basically focusing on like, oh, she's mentally impaired.
If I were to, I came up with another analogy. If I were to tell you that Kentucky was an alternative Virginia, you would immediately think that it's like Virginia, right? But a little bit different in some ways. You wouldn't think, oh, it's fucking the opposite. It's like covered in snow or sand or something.
Yeah. It's a very stupid trying to use like semantics and shit, like the kind of thing that
but like not only does it just ignore the fact of a political spectrum, it narrows the spectrum considerably, which I suspect is done on purpose.
The kind of thing that would make Noam Chomsky try to hang himself because him being a linguist, he would be like he's like, okay, like I'm done with this shit.
No, it's very pernicious. It's very like, I mean, it's a very good example of how language can be used to manipulate people.
Yeah.